6 coolant brands are sitting on store shelves right now with fake protection claims, and 5 others actually deliver on their long life promises. A $15 jug of the right coolant separates you from a $2,500 head gasket job, and the difference comes down to chemistry, not color, and not the brand name on the bottle. About 60% of engine failures trace back to cooling system problems. Overheating alone causes roughly 20% of all roadside breakdowns. So the coolant circulating through your engine right now is either shielding the metal from corrosion or quietly destroying it from the inside. Coolant chemistry, not color or brand, decides whether your engine stays protected or ends up in the shop. Underneath the bright green, orange, or pink dye, every jug is defined by its additive package, the mix of inhibitors and acids that shield metal, rubber, and plastic from corrosion and heat. The label language is the real code: PHOAT, OAT, HOAT, and SIOAT. These stand for Phosphated Hybrid Organic Acid Technology, Organic Acid Technology, Hybrid Organic Acid Technology, and Silicate Enhanced Organic Acid Technology. They are not marketing jargon. They are the technical families that tell you what is inside and what it is designed to protect. These formulas are built around specific molecules like 2-ethylhexanoic acid, sebacate, silicates, and phosphates, each chosen for compatibility with certain engine metals and gasket materials. Ignoring this chemistry can be a $1,000 mistake. A $15 jug of the right coolant prevents head gasket leaks, water pump erosion, and heater core blockages. Those failures can cost anywhere from $1,200 for a gasket job to $12,000 for a full engine replacement. The wrong chemistry, even if it looks the right color or carries a familiar name, can trigger corrosion, sludge, and seal swelling. Mixing silicate-rich green coolant with an OAT formula, for example, can create a gel that chokes off coolant flow. Using a 2-EHA-based organic acid technology formula in a system designed for phosphate-rich Asian coolants can eat through silicone gaskets in under 30,000 miles. The takeaway is simple: bottle color is meaningless and brand alone is no guarantee. The chemistry code on the label is your only real guide. Learn it, check it, and match it to your vehicle's needs. Skipping this step is like playing roulette with your engine's future. A bottle of coolant dyed blue-green might look like a safe bet, but color is no guarantee of compatibility. Volkswagen and Kia both sell blue-green coolant, yet the chemistry under the cap is worlds apart. Volkswagen's formula is a silicate-enhanced OAT, designed to protect aluminum and magnesium in European engines. Kia's blue-green, on the other hand, is phosphate-based and tailored for Asian market gaskets and water pumps. Pouring one into a system built for the other can neutralize corrosion inhibitors, forming sludge that settles in heater cores and radiator passages. The illusion of safety gets even riskier with pink and orange coolants. At a Volkswagen dealership, a batch of factory pink coolant was accidentally topped off with orange dex-cool, a formula loaded with 2-EHA and sebacate. Within days, the mixture transformed into a thick gelatin, blocking coolant flow and overheating every engine it touched. The service manager described pulling apart water pumps and finding them packed with a sticky, rubbery mass, evidence that the wrong chemistry does not just underperform, it can destroy an entire fleet. This is not a rare horror story. Coolant gelation is a known outcome when silicate, phosphate, and organic acid chemistries are mixed. No amount of color matching can prevent it. The only reliable guide is the additive code on the label, not the shade in the jug. Trusting color alone can turn a $15 shortcut into a $4,000 engine replacement. PQIA, the Petroleum Quality Institute of America, operates as a kind of consumer watchdog for the coolant aisle. Instead of relying on manufacturer claims, PQIA buys bottles straight off store shelves and submits them to ASTM standard lab analysis. In several recent surveys, their findings upended any sense of safety that comes from a sealed jug or a familiar-sounding label. Some products sold as brand new coolant were actually recycled fluid, contaminated, diluted, and relabeled for unsuspecting drivers. One sample flagged by PQIA contained chloride levels 6 times higher than the ASTM 3306 limit, a sign of reclaimed coolant or improper processing. At these concentrations, chloride acts like a slow acid, eating away at aluminum, copper, and steel inside the engine. The risk is not just theoretical. Corrosion from high chloride coolant can pit cylinder heads, breach water pump seals, and trigger leaks that spiral into four-figure repairs. Reports from PQIA go beyond chemistry. In Michigan, a case involving distributors of Petrozone Smart and Ice Shield led to felony criminal charges for misbranding and selling reclaimed coolant as new. The court records detail freeze point failures and chloride readings over 5 times the legal maximum, enough to violate both state consumer protection laws and federal labeling rules. Inventory was seized and restitution ordered. These are not isolated incidents. Heatwave Universal Summer Coolant, another product tested by PQIA, was found to contain only 8% ethylene glycol, so weak it offered no freeze protection below 27 degrees Fahrenheit, making it a hazard for any car outside a southern summer. The lesson is clear. Not every jug on the shelf is what it claims to be. Chemistry, not marketing, determines whether a coolant can protect modern engines. Independent shelf testing and, when necessary, criminal enforcement are the only real backstops for drivers facing a market where fake protection can slip by unnoticed until it is too late. Dollar store coolant and summer-only formulas line the shelves as tempting, cheap bargains, often priced at half or even a third of mainstream brands. The danger is not just in the low price, it is in the protection these products fail to deliver. Most of these fluids cut corners on inhibitor chemistry. Some contain as little as 8% ethylene glycol, offering almost no freeze protection below 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Others are little more than dyed water with a dash of additive, unable to shield aluminum or steel from corrosion through a full winter, let alone the multi-year service interval modern engines demand. Summer coolants in particular may skip critical corrosion inhibitors, leaving heater cores and water pump seals exposed once temperatures drop. Even in mild climates, these underbuilt mixtures can evaporate or break down, concentrating salts and acids that eat away at gaskets and radiators. The bottle may promise universal fit, but the fine print rarely matches the chemistry required by today's engines. Short-term savings here often mean long-term damage. A $7 jug can lead to a $1,500 repair bill. A gallon of waterless coolant can sound like the ultimate upgrade: no boiling, no freezing, no water to corrode metal. But for daily drivers, the trade-offs are hard to ignore. Waterless formulas like Evans replace water with pure glycol, which raises the boiling point to over 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds impressive until you look at the numbers for heat transfer. Water has a specific heat capacity of 4.18 kilojoules per kilogram Kelvin, while pure glycol sits closer to 2.5. In real-world testing, Project Farm found cylinder head temperatures climbed 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit higher with waterless coolant compared to a standard 50-50 mix. For a race car or a classic that sits in a climate-controlled garage, that is manageable. But in a modern commuter, those higher temperatures can stress gaskets, shorten service intervals, and risk long-term reliability. At $45 to $55 per gallon, the cost is 3 to 4 times higher than a mainstream long-life coolant. For most drivers, that money is better spent on a jug matched to their OEM chemistry, one that actually cools better, protects seals, and keeps repair bills in check. In 1995, General Motors rolled out dex-cool, a new orange coolant based on organic acid technology and loaded with 2-ethylhexanoic acid, abbreviated EHA. The promise was bold: 5 years or 150,000 miles between coolant changes with better protection for aluminum engines. But the reality proved far more costly. Within a few years, owners of General Motors' 3.1-liter, 3.4-liter, and 3.8-liter V6 engines began reporting intake manifold gasket failures, brown sludge in their radiators, and overheating that crippled daily drivers. The culprit was not a manufacturing defect or a rare batch error. It was the chemistry. Dex-cool's 2-EHA, when exposed to certain gasket materials and air, could soften silicone and plastic, leading to gasket leaks and rapid breakdown. When dex-cool mixed with leftover green IAT coolant, or encountered air pockets from low coolant levels, it formed thick, rust-colored sludge that clogged passages in water pumps. The fallout was enormous. By 2008, a federal class action lawsuit against General Motors resulted in a settlement of $40 to $60 million, covering repairs for nearly 35 million vehicles. Court records detail how the wrong coolant chemistry, matched to the wrong engine materials, or mixed with incompatible fluids, triggered a repair crisis on a scale rarely seen in the auto industry. Intake gaskets, heater cores, and radiators failed by the thousands. Owners faced bills ranging from $1,000 for gasket replacement to several $1,000s for engine rebuilds. The dex-cool case stands as the clearest warning. Coolant is not just a maintenance afterthought. The wrong formula can turn a $15 jug into a nationwide repair bill measured in tens of millions. Chemistry, not color, is what keeps an engine alive. Promises of one-size-fits-all coolant have been tested, and they failed under official scrutiny. In 2006, the National Advertising Division of the Better Business Bureau reviewed Prestone's claim that its antifreeze could safely protect all makes and models. After examining the evidence, the division concluded the claim was unsupported. Their decision cited a lack of data proving that a single formula could meet the distinct chemical requirements set by Asian, European, and North American manufacturers. Prestone was ordered to stop advertising universal compatibility unless it could back up the promise with rigorous, vehicle-specific laboratory results. This ruling did more than just slap a warning on a bottle. It exposed a fundamental flaw in the universal coolant story. Chemistry isn't interchangeable. What works for a phosphate-based Japanese system can destabilize a silicate-reinforced European formula, and vice versa. The additive package, phosphates, silicates, organic acids, must align with the metals and seals inside each engine. When marketing leaps ahead of science, the engine pays the price. The verdict from industry experts is blunt. MPM Oil, a global lubricant supplier, states flatly that universal coolant does not exist. Their technical bulletins break down the reality. Asian cars often require phosphate-rich blends. European vehicles demand silicate-enhanced OAT, and American manufacturers have their own OAT or HOAT specifications. Mixing across these lines can neutralize inhibitors, cause sludge, and leave critical surfaces exposed to corrosion. Despite that decision, bottles promising compatibility with all makes and all models still crowd store shelves. The message is clear: no matter how familiar the brand or convincing the label, there is no shortcut around chemistry. Relying on a universal claim risks turning a simple $15 maintenance job into a repair that costs thousands of dollars. The only real protection comes from matching the coolant's chemistry to the vehicle's needs. Anything less is a gamble with your engine's future. Few coolant ingredients have caused as much confusion and as much damage as 2-ethylhexanoic acid, or 2-EHA. This additive, a staple in many extended-life formulas, is prized for its ability to fight corrosion in aluminum. But its effect on engine seals tells a different story. SAE research documents that 2-EHA acts as a plasticizer, softening silicone gaskets and O-rings. In laboratory tests, silicone exposed to 2-EHA at concentrations above 1% lost up to 30% of its tensile strength in just 72 hours at 120 degrees Celsius, the kind of heat found inside a working engine. Field data from GM service bulletins and independent shops echo the lab results. Intake manifold gaskets and heater core seals begin to seep and fail in as little as 30,000 miles when 2-EHA is present. Asian automakers have responded by explicitly banning 2-EHA in their coolant specifications. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Hyundai all require phosphate-based or hybrid organic acid formulas that are free of 2-EHA to protect the silicone-rich seals and gaskets used in their engines. The warning is clear in service bulletins and owner's manuals. No 2-EHA is allowed. Yet despite these bans, some aftermarket coolants labeled as Asian vehicle formulas still include 2-EHA in their ingredient list. The contradiction is buried in the fine print, leaving owners at risk for leaks that can quickly escalate into overheating and engine failure. KOST USA, a major coolant manufacturer, has issued technical notices confirming that 2-EHA attacks silicone and certain types of nylon, accelerating leaks and swelling. Their recommendation is blunt: never use a 2-EHA coolant in an application where the OEM prohibits it. The chemistry does not care about the color on the bottle or a universal compatibility claim. For drivers, the cost of ignoring this detail is measured in blown gaskets, coolant loss, and repairs that can run from a few hundred to several $1,000s. The only safe bet is to match the coolant additive package to the engine seal materials, down to the molecule. Toyota's super long-life coolant stands out as a model for what the industry gets right when chemistry is matched to engine design. This formula is built on a phosphate-based hybrid organic acid technology, PQIA, and it delivers corrosion protection without the 2-EHA that has been linked to gasket failures in other systems. Aisin, Toyota's original equipment manufacturer supplier, offers ACT02 with the same PQIA chemistry, ensuring full compatibility with Toyota and Lexus engines. Honda Type 2, another PQIA blend, follows the same principle. It contains no 2-EHA, it is phosphate-rich, and it is engineered for the specific metals and gaskets found in Honda engines. These are not just theoretical differences. A documented case from the Bob is the Oil Guy forum details a Toyota engine torn down at 391,000 miles after running exclusively on original equipment manufacturer PQIA coolant. The coolant passages were spotless, no scale, no pitting, no evidence of corrosion, even after nearly 400,000 miles. That is not luck, it is chemistry doing its job. In the Honda world, a shop technician posted that in their experience, Honda Type 2 outlasts any aftermarket formula, with fewer cases of water pump leaks or heater core failures even past the 100,000 mile mark. For drivers, these stories translate to real savings. Less risk of a $1,500 head gasket repair or a $900 water pump job. The lesson is clear. Original equipment manufacturer matched coolants like Toyota SLLC, Aisin ACT02, and Honda Type 2 are not just safe bets, they are proven to keep engines running clean and cool for the long haul. Not every reliable coolant comes from a dealer parts counter. Several aftermarket lines have built a reputation for genuine long-life protection, earning trust through chemistry that matches OEM requirements and real-world durability. Zerex stands out among these alternatives, offering vehicle-specific formulas that avoid the shortcuts seen in bargain bin brands. In a fleet study cited by Popular Mechanics, Zerex coolant ran 300,000 miles in delivery vans without measurable corrosion or scale. An endurance test most products never face. The results were not a one-off. Zerex Asian vehicle and G05 lines, for example, are formulated without 2-EHA, making them safe for the silicone-rich gaskets found in many Toyota, Honda, and Ford engines. Peak Global Lifetime also belongs in the conversation. Its organic acid technology, OAT chemistry, skips 2-EHA entirely, relying instead on benzoate and long-chain carboxylates for corrosion control. This approach delivers universal coverage for mixed fleets without risking gasket swelling or inhibitor dropout. Pentosan, long favored by European specialists, supplies Psi-OAT and G13 coolants engineered for BMW, Audi, and VW, matching the silicate and organic acid balance those engines demand. These formulas do not just pass lab tests, they are the default choice for independent shops who see the aftermath of coolant failures firsthand. Credibility is not just built in the lab. Enthusiast forums like Bob is the Oil Guy document thousands of high-mileage case studies, engines running well past 150,000 miles, coolant passages clean, seals intact, and no sludge or pitting. The consensus from these communities is practical. Do not gamble on universal claims or generic blends. Proven aftermarket coolants like Zerex, Peak Global Lifetime, and Pentosan have earned their place by consistently matching chemistry to application, keeping engines safe and repair bills at bay. Right now, a $15 jug can decide whether you face a $2,500 head gasket failure or 150,000 miles of trouble-free driving. Lab tests still catch mislabeled and contaminated coolants in major retailers, and 2-EHA remains an active risk for certain engines. Chemistry, not color, protects your investment. The next time you top off, remember, the damage starts long before you see the bill. Let's hear your experience in the comments below.